Hi everyone, this is Michael, known on Reddit and in other places as Scourgicus, and this is an Elder Scrolls primer. Now today I wanted to talk about the world on which the Elder Scrolls video games takes place. Some of you may know that there are fantasy series out there that take place on our own world. Lord of the Rings, the Shannara books, some in the distant past, some in the distant future. Well, that's not the case in the Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls takes place in a completely separate universe, and the way that universe is set up is actually quite important to the game's mythology. What I'd like to do is start small and work out, because if you start at the outer edges of the universe and try to work in, things get really confusing. All of the games take place on the continent of Tamriel. Tamriel, like any continent on our planet, is geographically diverse. You have snowy regions, deserts, forests, swamps, all sorts of different places. It's filled, of course, with a variety of different peoples, races, and cultures. You have a number of humans, elves, and what are called the beast peoples. This includes my favorite race to play, the cat people, or Khajiit. And though they haven't appeared in the game yet, I have to give a shout out to the Ekmer, or bat elves. We'll talk about them sometime. Alright, Tamriel is not the only continent on the world. There are other continents, Akavir, Atmora, and Yakuta, a variety of other ones, but you don't ever really get to go to them. You read about them in books, or sometimes even hear about them in conversations with other characters, but so far we haven't gotten to go to them. All of this takes place on a planet called Nirn. Now, once you get past the planet Nirn, things tend to get a little tricky. On our world, if we were to leave the planet Earth, we'd end up in outer space, which is a vacuum. That's not what happens on Nirn. If you leave Nirn, you end up in the fields of Oblivion. I think the easiest way to understand Oblivion is to think about it as an ocean, and that Nirn is an island in that ocean. There are other islands, at least 16 others. These are called the Daedric Realms, and that is a whole other subject. Past Oblivion, we come to the end of the universe, which is the realm of Aetherius, or the realm of pure magic. You could then say that the Aurbis, or the entire universe, is a sphere. The outermost part of that sphere is Aetherius, then you move into Oblivion, to Nirn, and finally Tamriel, or as some people call it, the Starry Heart, because that's where everything takes place. Okay? Alright, now one of the fun things about all this, we're going to delve a little bit into lore, is that these realms affect one another, and that you can travel back and forth. You do this quite a bit in the games, actually. So if you were someone from Nirn, and say Tamriel, and you wanted to visit the Daedric realm of Apocrypha with its infinite libraries, you could do that. There's ways to do that. You might not want to go there. The person who's in charge, Hermaeus Mora, not really a nice guy. But say that there was a Daedra from Apocrypha, Mora or one of his agents, wanted to do something on Nirn. There are ways that they sort of can do that. Things get a little tricky here. The idea is that there is interplay between the different realms. We don't see quite as much interplay from Aetherius, though you do a little bit in Skyrim. Alright, so this has been an introduction to the world of the Elder Scrolls video games. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And this has been an Elder Scrolls primer. Thanks for listening.